Hi everyone, welcome to Forensic Examinations 10, Shellbags. For this video I've put together just a very brief slideshow to cover the points for the video. We're only going to be using it for a few minutes before we move into the actual examination itself. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the information that is stored within these shellbag entries in the registry and how they can really provide some golden evidence for your investigations. Okay, it was recently pointed out that shellbags are really not that widely used as part of forensic examinations, and I'll be honest, I haven't really used them until the last 3 months or so, which is a shame because the amount of information I've found in them as part of my investigations have been really, the information has just been excellent, really helpful to my cases. Okay, shellbag forensics is nothing new. It's been around for a couple of years. There's a lot of work that's already been done on this topic. There's a lot of papers out there. You can Google shellbag forensics and it'll bring back a ton of stuff. I will reference in a couple of slides some blogs and websites that you may want to check out, which go into a lot of depth on how shellbags, the structure of shellbags and how you can pull them apart manually. I'm not going to go into that here, A, because it's a lot to get into and it is very dry, and B, I don't want to take away from the people who've already put this work together. You should check their websites out because they put a hell of a lot of effort in. Okay, so let's get to the first slide. Right, shellbags. Now, as you can see, shellbags are used by Windows to track how you view Windows within the Windows environment. Okay, so if you have a window, say for example a folder on an external hard drive, say it's your music collection, whatever, if you sort it by file name and close that window and then reopen that window again, it remembers that you viewed it in file name sort. Okay, and this is where shellbags comes in. Changing the sort updates the registry date value, so I found anyway through my own testing. We'll come to that in a little bit. Okay, but this is how Windows tracks how you view folders in Explorer. Okay, in Windows XP, alright, your shellbags are stored within the ntuser.dat registry hive for whichever user you're looking at. Okay, in Windows 7, it's ntuser.dat and it's user class.dat. Okay, now for this demonstration I put together a fresh installation of Windows 7. I did a little bit of playing around with folders, which I then deleted. All of the information I needed was stored within the user class.dat file. Okay, there was nothing in ntuser.dat. However, that's only because I used the machine for a few minutes. You should look at both when conducting your examinations. Okay, and I'm also going to show you a tool which I've found to be excellent at pulling information out of these registry hives. Okay, so as you can see there now, they can contain data relating to folders present on external devices as well as your local hard drive, network drives and encrypted drives. Okay, so any folder that you browse to, information regarding that folder such as how it was listed, okay, will be kept within these shellbag entries, and it should relate to each folder that you view. Okay, this is extremely helpful in cases where you think, for example, you've identified a USB device which hasn't been seized, okay, or you have an encrypted volume, maybe a TrueCrypt volume on your hard drive or an external device, and you don't have the password for it. The person that, the suspect won't give you the password. This again can open, shellbags can open up a way into of possibly seeing into what could have been in these encrypted volumes or these network drives or missing external media. Okay, We're going to be using a program called Shellbags, which is available from TZWorks. Okay, I've been using it within Windows, but there is a Linux version as well. I do believe there's a Mac version, but don't take my word for it. There are also a lot of other really excellent tools on that website. So pop over and have a look and have a play with some of the stuff you can find on there. Okay. So let's have a bit of investigation backstory before we go ahead. Alright, so we have a computer. It has been seized from the suspect. You've taken an image of it, although for this example we're only going to be using we're only going to be looking at the user registry hives, enter-user.dat and user class.dat. Okay, for this particular example we're going to only be looking at user class.dat, but what I'm trying to get at is if you need to get in and out, you know, if you've got, say for example, you know, somebody in charge is hammering you to try and get some information out quickly, you can always just extract the enter-user.dat file from your image, or the user class.dat file from your image, and run this TZWorks file, TZWorks Shellbags program against it, and you'll get some results really quickly. Okay, so coming back to this, the computer's been seized. You've had a quick look at the image. You haven't done any real digging for deleted files or folders. There doesn't seem to be anything live, okay, of interest. Also, it may be worth mentioning that even if you have looked for deleted files and folders, the Shellbags will still hang on to information, the information relating to deleted folders as well. So even if that folder or file has been deleted and overwritten, you may still be able to get information relating to the folder back from examining the Shellbags. Okay, so we haven't identified anything of interest at the moment. No external devices have been seized. You've also noticed that there's an encryption software installed. So as an example, we'll say TrueCrypt. Now, what I'm going to show is that by examining the Shellbags file, the Shellbags registry entries we had previously had on the desktop of the suspect machine, a couple of folders, and also there's evidence that an external device has been connected. Now, you would carry on this examination obviously after the end of this video. If you would conduct this examination, you would then look at possibly identifying what the drive letter was assigned to. So you'd look at, you know, what USB devices have been installed on the computer, but that's for another video. Okay, so these are the websites you're going to want to check out. Willie Ballantyne, we've used a script from his website before. I'm not sure if you remember the index buffers video. It was a long time ago, but we used a Python script from his website to pass out the information from there. You've got Harlan Carvey's Windows Incident Response blogspot. There's an article on there regarding Shellbag analysis. Okay, and then there's the good people at SANS who've also got an article there on Shellbags. I believe that article's specific to Windows 7, okay, because there is a difference between the structure of Shellbags in Windows 7 and in XP. Alright. Also, if you really want to, I am on Google+, I am on Twitter, and I have got a blogspot sort of blog, which I think I've put like 2 articles on, and that has been the end of that. You can find me on Google under my real name, and Twitter, which is just my name with no spaces. The blogspot is still using the Sharkster Forensics one, but I'm sort of moving away from that now. Alright, so that's enough chat. Let's get into the examination. Okay, so I've got Sift up and running again. So up to this point, what we've done is extract the user class.dat file from the suspect machine, or the suspect image. Okay, so I've put them into my downloads folder. So you see I've got enter-user.dat. We're not going to look at it because it's empty. and we've got the user class.dat file. This will contain shellbag items relevant to our examination. Okay, now you can see there's a folder there, sbags. If I just go in there quickly, you can see there's an sbag32 executable there. Alright, that's the program we're going to use to extract the information. Alright, but before we do that, I'm just going to briefly show you what where these shellbag items are located within the registry itself, should you want to have a look. Obviously you should always try and confirm that the information given to you by programs like Shellbags is correct. So you could manually pass out the data from the registry yourself. I'll just show you where it is, because I'll be honest, I don't know half of it myself. Okay, so we'll open up Yaru, which is a registry editor in SIFT. Okay, and we're going to open up the I'm going to show you the ntuser.dat file just because I'm going to show you where the shellbags are if they were there as part of your examination. Okay, they're not in this one just because I've used Windows only for a minute or two to put these folders on, but normally if you've seized a machine which has been in use for a while, then you'll have these entries there. Okay, so it's ntuser.dat, it's system, Microsoft, Windows, shell, and then you've got bag, MRU, and bags. Okay, so excuse me, I got a hell of a cold. I don't mean to keep sniffing in your ear. You've got a shell, subfolders of the shell. You've got bag, MRU, and bags. Okay, so bag MRU is going to contain, in here you've got 3 entries. You know, there's nothing of interest there because there's obviously, like I said, no information, but this will contain more information relating to folders that the user has browsed to. Okay, you're going to see those now in the user class.dat file, but that is where you would look manually in the ntuser.dat file. We're going to look now at the user class.dat file. Alright, so it's local settings, software, Microsoft, Windows, shell, bags, bag MRU, and bags. Okay, so bag MRU contains information relating to the folder name, things like that. Numbers in here will correspond to entries within bags, and the information that is stored in here relates to things like how the information is presented to you in the Explorer window. Okay, we are just going to look at bag MRU for now. So as you can see, we have slightly more information here than we had in the ntuser.dat file. We've got a 0 and a 1, and we also have a 0 and a 1 file here. They're not files, they're I think they're keys. I'm going to get told off for giving them the wrong name or values. I am going to really get told off for giving you the wrong names, but each of these relate to each of the folders here, although I don't know. Anyway, 0, alright, there's nothing there. From what I've read on one of the papers, bag MRU relates to the desktop. Okay, so ignore that bit for a second because that's not the desktop, that's a folder on the desktop, so ignore that. But one of the papers I read said that this is always the desktop. Now when we look at the output from Shellbags, you'll see that everything is a subfolder of the desktop. Okay, but we'll come to that in a second. So that's nothing. 1, okay, 1 is relates to a folder called desktop folder full of the good stuff. Alright, so this relates to this here, so we open that up and you can see there's another 2 entries here. Okay, so this relates to a folder on the desktop called new folder. Alright, and this relates to a folder, sorry, let me go back. This relates to a folder called new folder, which is a subfolder of the folder on the desktop called desktop stuff full of good stuff, or whatever it was called. Okay, so these are subfolders of that folder. So within that folder is a folder called new folder. How many times can I say folder? And then there's an entry here for stuff, good stuff goes in here. Okay, so if I was to open these up, there are no more numbers here, so there are no more entries. This would indicate there are no more folders in there, or at least I think the user hasn't browsed them. I'm not sure. Same again for this one. Alright, so you get the idea. You can look in here. There's information. I think this information here relates to other information within bags. Alright, it helps you find which of these folders here relates to this folder, and you can have a look at that another time. So that's where you manually look for shell bags. Okay, so we've had enough of that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use sbag32 to pass out the information from the user class .dat file. Right, so it's on my desktop, in my downloads folder. Sorry, user class. Put a -csv because we're gonna the format we wanted is in comma separated values, or I'm not sure if it's tabbed actually, but either way, put it into this format so that you can open it up in Excel or LibreOffice, whichever one it is. Okay, and then you want to specify the output file, so I'm just going to call it output.csv. Okay, you get a little bit of information there just to say it's a non-commercial, non-business version. Alright, you can pay for it. I'm not sure. I think it comes with a few extra bells and whistles on it. I haven't really looked at it, but we're using this version for now. So if I look in my downloads folder now, there should be in the sbags folder there should be, there you go, it's an output.csv file. That should open up in LibreOffice eventually, or OpenOffice. Sorry, it's an old version. Okay, yeah, comma tab, that's fine. Boom. Alright, there isn't a lot of information because, like I said before, I've hardly used this folder, this instance of Windows 7. But this, in the investigations that I've done over the last 3 months, this has been full of information relating to files on network drives or folders on network drives. It will actually show you some files, and it's mostly zip files, and I'm fairly sure that's to do with the fact that Explorer can mount them as folders. You can open like a .zip file in Explorer as its own folder. I think that's why you can get them sometimes included in the shell bags. Okay, but output I've had from a lot of cases in the last 3 months has contained a lot of information relating to files which are no longer present or were present on an external device or encrypted device in one case, encrypted volume, sorry, which we didn't have access to. Alright, so let's have a look here. 10th of the 7th, this is Americanized date, 10th of the 7th yesterday was when I put the video, put the virtual machine, the Windows 7 virtual machine together. These are the time. This is in UTC, by the way. What you'll notice is there's UTC here. These are the last times I think I interacted with the folders. This, I believe. Let's have a look. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is GMT. This is UTC. These are. See, it says UTC there, but I'm fairly sure this is GMT. I'll have to test that, and I would advise you do the same. But I've read in a couple of places that people are having trouble pinning down what actions change these times. Okay. It's worth a bit of a play. I've had a brief play with it and struggled basically to find a concrete sort of set of rules which will change these. If any of you know or have the time to really do some thorough testing, then I'd be more than happy to create like a bolt-on video to this one and obviously give you proper recognition for your work. Okay, if not, don't worry about it. So these are the bag numbers. All right, these are the bags that contain the information, I believe, such as how the, what where you view the folder, etc. These aren't the bag MIUs. I think the bag MIUs are here. Yeah. Okay. So remember now, we looked in one, and there was a subfolder of one. These are the folders though. These are the keys that we looked at in the registry. These were the other ones we didn't look at. Okay. But anyway, as you can see, everything again is a subfolder of the desktop. All right. This is the folder I had on the desktop, and a subfolder of that was good stuff goes in here, and new folder. Okay. You'll notice here CLSID my computer. I didn't know about this actually until I started playing around with Shellbags. The CLSID is like a GUID number, which is assigned to things like my computer, network places, I think my documents, control panel, stuff like that. Okay, and they're consistent numbers across installations of Windows 7. Okay, so your installation of Windows 7 will have the same GUID for my computer as will have the same GUID number for my computer as my computer does. Okay, as in my own computer. So the guys at TZ Works have obviously incorporated a list of CLSID numbers into the program, so that if you were to look up this structure here in the registry manually, this would be a long GUID number. This wouldn't say CLSID my computer, it would be a long GUID number. You can look these numbers up. There's quite a lot of websites I found with huge lists of GUID numbers. Some of them are still unknown. So anyway, everything again is subfolder of the desktop, CLSID. Basically, it's my computer. If it was something else, then the program would tell you, as long as it knew what that GUID corresponded to. All right. But look what we have. We have an E drive. Okay. Now we haven't seized any external devices, and we have seen that TrueCrypt is installed. So this could relate to either of those. Okay. Just so you know, it's an external device. I connected an external device up, had a few folders there, just opened them up for a look inside, and closed it out, removed the USB device. Okay, but the entries are still here, so you can see there's quite a few folders that were on this external device, on this USB device, which has been assigned the drive letter E. Hopefully the suspect is going to have named their folders quite clearly for what the contents are, but on the other hand, it's still a way of showing that there may be other stuff which hasn't been seized, or that encrypted volumes have been used. Okay, or network drives, by the way. So that's about it, really. I think I've covered everything I wanted to for this video. Sorry it's been so long since the last one, but I've had a change of jobs, and there's been a lot going on, so I just really haven't had time to put anything together, but I do now, so I'm hoping to get them out regularly, although I have said that before. If you have any suggestions about things you might want to see, I can't guarantee that I can do it, but I'll definitely look into it for you. So yeah, I mean, by all means, drop me a message on Twitter or Google Plus, because there's nobody on there, and or on YouTube, and I'll see what I can do for you. Alright, so thanks very much for watching, and good luck with your examinations.